Hi there, Anna McKinlay here. Thanks so much for joining me. What I'd like to talk to you about in this video is opportunity. Opportunity. Do you ever get sick of those people who constantly saying, oh, we're surrounded by opportunity. The world is filled with opportunities. When maybe you're in a place where you look around and you can't see them. Well, if that's you, I'd like to share a different perspective. Is that okay with you? Because here's the thing. Whether or not we live or experience a world that's full of opportunity, in a lot of ways, it's up to us. That's the hard truth. If you don't like the sound of that, hop off this video now. If you want to know what I mean so that you can actually experience more opportunity in your life, stay listening. Because here's the thing, I'm going to use a personal experience as an example. The thing is that the opportunities that we experience or that we don't experience, at the end of the day, largely boils down to our perspective and how we choose to view the things that happen in our lives. So the example, the story I'd like to use to share with you is actually goes back to this weekend that we just had, just a few days ago. We had a great weekend. When looking back on it, my husband and I, we got a lot of stuff done in our garden that we'd been putting off, and to be honest, pretending wasn't there. Do you know what the word we use for that is procrastinating, right? We've been procrastinating about this tidying up. And we had a conversation, we were just outside, we had a conversation with our neighbor who was painting their side of the fence, our boundary fence, and the garden stuff we've been putting off included this big vine that, unbeknownst to us, had gone over the other side of the fence and was creating nuisance, and the neighbor was telling us about how this had happened. And, you know, basically my husband and I had this conversation, which was like, oh, the neighbor's telling us that they want us to clear this stuff out. We don't want to clear this stuff out. It feels, and you know, our initial response was, this feels like a big job. We don't want to do it. A little bit of defensiveness because you know, it's coming from the next door neighbor, lovely people. But that's the initial default response that we both experienced. Bit of defensiveness, bit of negativity. So how can I turn around and say, oh, it was a fantastic weekend, fantastic opportunity. We had a great time. And even better, not just that, but our teenage son helped us do the work as well. And we ended up having a lot of fun together. It all comes down to perspective. When we're aware of ourselves and we can catch ourselves going, oh, this is a problem, this is a negative thing, that gives us an opportunity, if we catch ourselves, to choose another perspective. So what's another perspective we can take? Oh, well, maybe now's the time to actually do something about that thing we've been procrastinating about. Wouldn't it be good to get behind us? Even better, wouldn't it be good to use this as a chance to get our teenager out of the house, away from screen time, and to actually do something with us that involves some physical activity, all things which we'd like to accomplish. So that's what happened. We had the conversation with the neighbor. We both had a couple of things to finish. We said, we're going to get started in this amount of time. I went and told my son, we're doing this in half an hour, so you've got time to finish what you're doing. I'll make you some food first. What would you like? So I did something for him so that he was on board with coming out and helping us. Right? And it turned into a fantastic afternoon. We cleaned up together, we worked as a team, we had an opportunity to share some things and help our son learn some new things. We even, as an added bonus in clearing out all of this garden stuff, discovered several wetters. For those of you who don't live in New Zealand, a wetter is a New Zealand insect. It's quite large, it's about this big, very, very introverted. It likes to hide in dark places and runs away from company. If you've ever seen the movie King Kong, made by Peter Jackson, there were some giant wetters in that. That'll give you an idea. But the real insects are not scary at all, even though they're big. They like to keep away from people. So we had the extra bonus of that little biology experience with our teenage son from doing this. Now, the reason I want to share that story is it is just one example of how the perspective we choose to take to what happens in our life makes a difference between it being a problem or being an opportunity. When something external happens, a conversation with our neighbor, we can interpret that as our neighbor complaining and it's such a pain and we don't really want to do it and get in a negative state about it and turn it into a problem. Or we have the choice of going, okay, how can we turn this into an opportunity here and add on some extra bonuses, right? And so that's what we did, which is why I can look back and go, yeah, it was a great weekend. We did all of this gardening, which we hadn't planned to do, and we'd been planning something else, but it was fantastic. And we had this great family experience at the same time. Why am I sharing this with you? Because this isn't just a one-off. This principle of how we respond and choosing how we respond applies to anything that comes up in our life. Whatever happens externally, one of the powers that we always retain, and no one can take this power away from you, is that you have the power to choose how you respond internally to an external event. And it starts by creating the space in which to choose. Stephen Covey used to talk about this as personal responsibility, as in we all have the ability to choose how we respond. I've talked about this in other videos. And so the skill or attitude for us to practice if we want to really experience more opportunity in our lives is when something happens is to create the space to choose the perspective we'll take. And it can be as simple as just noticing, I'm having a negative response here. I'm seeing this as a problem. Pause, take a few breaths. How can I turn this into an opportunity? So I hope that that's served you. I'd love to hear any insights you have, or even better, any stories you have of how you've shifted or how people you know have shifted problems into opportunities by changing the perspective that we take. Because there are so many opportunities in life for us to do that, right? So scroll down now, share your insights and experiences and ahas in the comments below, and I look forward to seeing you in another video soon. Thank you for joining me. Bye for now.